Welcome to the No Shave Man Cave Solo Edition. I'm on my own tonight. I am going to be talking about what happened on Dynamite January 22nd. We're going to go over what the highlights were and what happened to those legends at the end. Check it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I can't do what Ellie Jair does with the ladies and gentlemen, that whole thing, but welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I am Jay Tilley. My partner in crime is out today, so you get a solo edition. I think my first ever solo, so hopefully you enjoy it. I'm going to go through what happened on Dynamite and talk about, the key points, highlights I saw. Maybe when we get Ellie Jair on during the week, I can get some updates from him, but you're going to get the one-sided opinion of me this time because, you know me, I'm an AEW fan. And we start the show with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. I thought this was a very strong opening to the show. Probably one of the better openings I've seen on a Dynamite in a long time. We had Kenny Omega come out, or actually Will Ospreay came out first, invites Kenny to the ring to have their one-on-one talk. And it starts off pretty good. You've got Will Ospreay talking about how he wants to bury the hatchet and be friends. Kenny grabs the mic from him. No, we're not friends. We're never going to do this. I don't trust you. The only reason you became number one is because everybody thought I was going to die, and that pushed you up. Nobody would have known you to exist. Good stuff. Really good back and forth. Really, really enjoyed it. Then they get interrupted by the Don Callis family. So the beatdown ensues after that. You see him go through the arena. It starts off with Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. And then eventually you've got Brian Cage and the Murder Hawk Monster join in. So beatdowns all around the arena. Good stuff. Your typical backstage stuff. But then it takes a turn. As they're working their way back into the ring, Kyle Fletcher throws Will Ospreay. Well, he catches the top of a balcony and pulls himself up. And I swear he does the highest moonsault I've ever seen from a wrestling. I mean, I'm sure there's been like New Jack back in ECW did some crazy ones, but this one was really pretty looking, really insane. And as soon as he lands, you see Omega do it from the rafters on the other side. Amazing. What a hot opening. Get a promo cut, and basically Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega went from hating each other to, hey, the enemy of my enemy. So now they are friends, and we're going to have that tag match, which I think somebody may have called on one of our shows in the past. At Grand Slam, it's going to be Ospreay and Omega versus Takeshita and Fletcher. That's going to be a great match, but what a fire opening. Really, really impressed with it. I thought the mic work was great, and I am so glad to see Kenny Omega back on TV. I hope he stays healthy, hope he stays great, and we continue to see this run of his, because this was the feeling that AEW has had for me in the past, and this is the feeling I want. That being said, I don't need Kenny and Omega to make that statement, because don't remind us that we're not getting that all the time. But that's all right. I'll let it go. And then, of course, Kenny, at the end, the adrenaline drops, and he goes, oh, my God, I'm afraid of heights. Let me get down from here. So we cut from that. We go from that to a backstage segment with Jon Moxley. Basic Death Rider stuff, the cryptic Jon Moxley stuff. If you listen to the shows in the past, I'm kind of like on it. I'm not sucked in by it. I'm not a fan of the world title picture right now. So it did its job. He talks about what he's going to do to Cope and all this stuff, and how they fought each other in the past, and the same old you get from Moxley lately. But then we roll into the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Be honest with you, I thought they were going to build this up a little more. I understand that last week the Hurt Syndicate and Private Party. The Hurt Syndicate beat Private Party in a 3-on-3 match last week. So I thought maybe they would build this up a little, but nope, they pulled the trigger quick, and Hurt Syndicate came out and just absolutely dominated Private Party and are your new tag team champions. Made a big point of talking about how Bobby Lashley has never held that tag team title. So that's really cool. Like, I wonder if it's one of those things where he came into the company and said, hey, that's a title I've never heard. I'd like to do that. So him and Shelton Benjamin with MVP in their corner are now your tag team champions. I like it. I like the move. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you like it or not. I'm curious if it's just me, if they pulled the trigger too quick. But I like it. Today, actually, on the 23rd, we got a Twitter post from FTR, something about back to business. So I'd be okay with an FTR Hurt Syndicate feud going in for the titles. It'd be interesting. But if that's going to reshape the tag division in AEW, I am for it. Then we get another backstage promo. Jeff Jarrett talking about how he lowered himself and he shouldn't have done that and got in the mud, and his wife reminding him that that was the stuff she wanted him to get away from back in the day. So he comes out to the ring, kind of says the same thing in the ring, that he dropped himself to a lower denominator. He shouldn't have done that. So he's going to forget MJF for now, and he's going to just cut the chase and calls out Moxley. Moxley, I want your world title. It's time. It's my time. I want to do it. Well, we get the Death Riders music, but it's not Moxley. It's Claudio. Claudio comes out and basically says, you have to get to Moxley, you've got to go through me, which sets up their match. More about Jarrett towards the end, though, because I've got some concerns about this whole thing and just some continuity things that didn't make sense to me. But a Claudio Jeff Jarrett match is going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, you're going to probably put Jarrett over because you're going to want to build that Jeff Jarrett, John Moxley match, going to make it feel like it means something. And it very well, I don't see them per se giving the title to Jeff Jarrett, but we'll see. We'll see what happens as the show goes on. All right, then we've got Swerve Strickland and AR Fox. Really, I liked this match overall. The match is good. Both great competitors. Swerve ends up getting the win with the Swerve Stomp. But what I liked, a couple things about this match, is I like the fact that the AEW announcers referenced the Swerve Strickland AR Fox beatdown that happened almost a year and a half ago now with Nick Wayne, and they bloodied him up. And I like that they kind of referenced the fact that they'd worked together before. They didn't mention Lucha Underground, but, hinted at it. And that's one thing I appreciate that AEW is doing, and WWE is doing it now, is they reference stuff from the past. And you talk about, hey, these are the things that like the past happened. It's real. It wasn't imaginary. And I like that. And I think AEW does a good job of it and reminding you that, yeah, these two are in the ring together. It's not the first time. They had quite a mini rivalry back in the day. So good stuff. We did get an interference from Ricochet about towards the end, who then gets chased away by Prince Nana. And then, like I said, Swerve gets the win. Then we cut to a post-match, and it's Ricochet, easy for me to say, Ricochet in the back. And he is talking about, just kind of unhinged. I like this character. He's a little crazy. Totally should be put in jail for threatening the man's life and talking about how he could have killed him right there. But, it is what it is. But definitely he's very good at this unhinged. Swerve's gotten under his skin. I liked it. I like this promo. I think it would have been a little more effective, though, if they'd have had Prince Nana on the ground bleeding. Like he'd already beaten him up and done the damage. Because just holding the scissors to him was whatever. But, it furthers the storyline. Their match in Atlanta in 2 weeks, I'm sure, is going to be a hell of a match. Hopefully it's not a blow-off and we get a continuation, a little bit of a feud going through. But good thing. The only thing it made me did think, though, is what happened to the Bobby Lashley Swerve Strickland stuff we had started teasing? It just kind of disappeared. So where AEW does some good stuff with really good continuity, talking about the past with AR Fox, then we had this whole thing built up with Swerve Strickland and Bobby Lashley, and it just fell apart. And there goes that continuity. So I don't know what happened with that, but it is what it is. Next, we get the one and only. So we had the one and only women's match of the night. Right before that, we had the Monet come out and Harley came and challenge her. Then we get the women's match, which is Julia Hart and Jamie Hayter. And these two have some really good chemistry in the ring. This was a pretty good hard-hitting match. Julia Hart absolutely blows me away. She has gone from a cheerleader walking to the ring, didn't really do much, to probably one of the top 10 wrestlers in AEW right now, if not top 5. She is really good in the ring. And the fact that she's like 22, 23, she's super young. She has so much time to go, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for her, because the things she's doing now in there with people like Jamie Hayter, and we've seen her in there with several, Soraya, and we've seen her, and she's a champion already. So just great stuff from her. These two went back and forth, and this is one of those that I could watch again and again. Um, I'd like to see him. This is one of those legacy feuds they talk about, where you watch this match over and over, and every time you see something new, and it changes. And Hater kind of hinted that at the end. She talks about how they've gone back and forth, and that Julia Hart is one tough bitch, and she loves her. And when they're ready for number 3, she'll run it back with her. Great stuff. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was good. Good match, worth checking out if you want to go back and watch just a couple minutes of something. I do and would love to see more women's wrestling on TV. I know Dynamite is 2 hours, but there's some stuff that definitely could have been cut out of this show to give us another match here or there. One of the things that we got after this was the House of Black, which I guess is no longer the House of Black. Buddy Matthews, Julia Hart, and Brody King talking about they don't need a leader. They don't need a god. That they don't even mention Malachi Black. They don't even mention the House of Black. They just talk about they're going out on their own, and all they're going to do from now is violence. Yeah, it's good, right? Like, these three together is fine, because you can have the two go for the tag teams. Tell me that Brody King and Buddy Matthews versus the Hurt Syndicate wouldn't be an amazing match or feud to get into. Like, some good stuff set up there. So good stuff on that, and I'd like to see where that's going to go. Obviously, this fuels all the suspicion that Malachi, Alistair, whatever he's going to go by, is probably gone. Whether or not he's going to WWE or he's going to stay independent, I don't know. Whatever makes the man happy, to be honest with you. I don't care. I like the guy. I've met him a few times. Super nice, but whatever makes the guy happy. Like, I'm not one of these diehard AEW fans who's going to get mad if he switches and goes to WWE. If that's where he wants to go and wants to be happy, that's where he's going to go and be happy. Then we have a talent in the ring, Tyler Shoop, waiting for his matchman, Hangman Page, but instead we have MJF walk out, and MJF tells him, get out of his ring, and MJF cuts another promo talking about the only reason he was going to help Jarrett is because he knew Jarrett would be easy to beat, and goes back and forth. Just your typical MJF stuff, but this is where it got intriguing. Then we have Hangman music's hit, and Hangman walks to the ring, and they have a moment in the ring where they kind of look at each other. And I swear Hangman told him to get out of his ring, and MJF backs out. But I love this little tease, this little dripping, this little, oh my gosh, this is a match I want to see that they're setting up. And I know you're thinking, wait, they're both heels. They are both heels, but wait, there's more. So Hangman swash match, wins easily. I think 2 moves in, he beats Tyler Swoop with Christopher Daniels' Angel's Wings. No big deal. Gets ready to leave. Christopher Daniels comes out. Christopher Daniels stops Hangman and says, hey, I never wanted to fight with you. This is just in your head. But I want to let you know that because of the beating you put on me, I will never wrestle again. And everybody's all sad, which, of course, Christopher Daniels has had a great career. If that was his last match, it was a good match. Wish him nothing but the best and all that great stuff. But the key to it was it definitely put that, wait, maybe I'm losing it look in Hangman's face. He definitely had this, man, I wanted to beat him, but I didn't mean to end his career. So, like I said, this could be the turn of Hangman going back to being a good guy. And then you've got Hangman and MJF down the road, down the pipe, 6 months to a year from now, in a hell of a feud that I think would be really, really entertaining. They're both good on the mic. They both have that passion. They're both, I don't want to say AEW originals because Hangman has been in New Japan and everything, but they're both, as far as American soil, AEW national TV originals. Interesting to see where they're going to go with that. Now, I know some of you are saying, but man, what happened to the Samoa Joe match and Nick Wayne? Well, Samoa Joe, due to the weather, kind of like what's delayed our show going out due to the weather, could not make the show. So they plugged in some things. And so there was probably a little more backstage segments and vignettes than we're used to seeing in AEW. But I felt like they did a good job of taking care of that and covering it up. So then we get the parts of the show that I kind of tend to skip. However, this one got me. It was the New York Minute with Chris Jericho. Uh, Chris Jericho says, "What happened? You were supposed to do this." And Big Bill says, "Well, we learned from our mistakes and move forward." And Jericho kind of loses it on him. So definitely starting to see the split on that. But we set up Hobbs and Big Bill at Collision this coming Saturday, which the No Shave Man Cave will be at. We're going to go enjoy that. So check it out. If you're there, see me, wave hi, and I'll say hi back. But so I'm not a big fan of all the Jericho stuff, but I did kind of like the little dissension in the ranks here, and I thought it was a good way to start building Big Bill. If you go back to All In weekend, the amount of cheers he was getting and everything, I think the fans would like to see him get a nice face push and be a good guy and see what they could do with that. Then it's time for the main event, which is the rated R superstar Adam Copeland or Cope or Soup or whatever they're going by now versus Pac. I'm pretty sure these two had a match when they were in WWE together, but this one was really good. Good back and forth. Cope is still kind of that old school style that is good and some good selling in here, some back and forth. And then he hit this TKO finisher thing that I don't think I've seen him do, which looks like might be his new finishing move to beat Pac at the end. Goes over, which we kind of saw coming because obviously he's Mox's next opponent. So match is over. He's celebrating. Then we cut to the back and we get more Death Rider stuff. So the Death Riders have FTR tied to a chair, all duct taped up. And it took me a minute to realize what was going on, and then they panned out. They have one of the greatest tag teams ever, the Rock and Roll Express, laid out. So they have jumped the legends of the Rock and Roll Express. Then they give a concerto to Ricky Morton while FTR's in the back tied up. And I don't know whether Dax fell over on accident or for real, but his selling being stuck on his chair, falling over was great. But yeah, concerto to the legends of Ricky Morton. The legend of Ricky Morton in that tag team, which obviously enrages Cope. Well, then the Death Riders come out to the ring, kind of making a point like, you've got no one's got your back. And they put a beat down on him, targeting his neck, which during the match was all targeted to. So obviously, like Mox called out in the beginning of the show, he's going to go after his neck and end him. So starts going after his neck, pounding on his neck. Then the music hits, and here comes Switchblade. Switchblade Jay White runs to the ring, knocks out everybody, gets in the ring to help Cope, and then the Death Riders get the advantage, and you've got a 4-on-2. Moxley puts Copeland in that bulldog choke, cranking on his neck, chokes him out to end the show. So a couple things on this one for ending the show. The beatdown and everything was fine. Very NWO feeling as far as like they're going to end the show every week with the bad guys on top. I'm okay with. One of the issues I had is, where was Jeff Jarrett? So Jeff Jarrett not an hour ago was talking about going after Moxley and wanting this match. And here he is at the end of the show, his chance to go in and tie it up at least 3-on-3, and he doesn't show. Now maybe they'll follow this up next week with something from him, or even MJF saying, hey, you must really be afraid of them. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I thought it was a lapse in the continuity to why Jeff Jarrett didn't come out with his guitar to help Jay White and Adam Copeland, or Cope. Whatever the reasoning is, they should follow it up, because it just definitely doesn't make sense. Because now, you see going into next week, we're going to have Claudio versus Jarrett. I'm sure the Death Riders will get involved, and I'm sure you're going to see Copeland and Jay White come out and try to make the save. So why wasn't, there's an unbalance there in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe they won't save Jarrett. I don't know. It just seemed very odd that he wasn't there. But that is the overall Dynamite recap, kind of what we went through. I blew through it. I know it's weird. I'm used to bouncing stuff off my partner. He's not here. But as for me, I gave it about Three Beards was not the greatest Dynamite, but that opening with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, which those of you who listen to the show for a while now know are two of my all-time favorite wrestlers. They're up there with Bret Hart in my book. So fantastic to see them. Fantastic mic work, and then I cannot wait for Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher versus those two in Australia. Going to be good stuff. I'm dying to see where they go forward. I definitely think the show progressed some storylines. I definitely think this show did a good job of continuing to build what 2025 is going to look like for AEW. Yes, I may not agree with everything, but I'm not always right. So let me know what you guys think. Was this a great one? Was this an okay one? Do you love the Death Riders? Do you not love the Death Riders? Let us know in the comments below, and we will read those out and check them out. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you want to follow us, we're on No Shave Man Cave at on Twitter. Also, new Instagram, the official Instagram, NSMC _ podcast, No Shave Man Cave _ podcast, the initials. Check us out. Follow us on Instagram. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe to this channel. Hit the notifications if you want to get notified when we go live. Speaking of going live, check us out on Royal Rumble. We're going to be doing a live Royal Rumble stream right here on the channel, watching along with you, talking about it and trying to make our guesses on who's coming out to the new generic music of WWE. So we will be enjoying that. As my buddy says, I would usually tag out to him here, but take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.